This Waffle live stream is proudly brought to you by Ross's Discount Home Centre, Front Row Screens, your local streaming superheroes, and CD Dodd, scrap metal recyclers.
Of South Fremantle and Claremont fans later in the day, but we've got a nice little bonus for you live on Front Row Screen Sport, your number one in 2021. It's the reserves preliminary final, and doing battle is Subiaco and Claremont. The winner to take on Perth next Saturday in WAFL's biggest day, the 2021 OPTUS WAFL Grand Final. On behalf of Luke Worthington, Paul Persick welcoming you to our coverage here this afternoon. It's going to be Gowdy and Putt to start things off. Putt with the two-handed palm down. Ball's in dispute in the centre. Putt tries to retrieve it out of the congestion. Here comes full grade for Subiaco. The umpire is going to take it. Not going to go anywhere further. Luke, a very good afternoon to you. It should be a very interesting game between these two teams, especially how close the final series has been.
Yeah, and we saw a great game of Colts here before between the two sides, and it was a close one in the end. Swan District's just getting up over East Fremantle, and a lightning strike shortening that game. So pretty happy that we can get this one underway.
And hopefully no lightning strikes later this afternoon for this reserves game. Pearce gets the hand pass over the top to Anderson. Puts boot to ball. They'll contest about 60 metres out. Good spoil from Minia. It comes out for the Lions. And now they kick towards the half-forward line. Holt couldn't take the mark. Gets it back. Free kick's going to go the way of the Tigers, and it'll be taken out there by number 48 and Lewis Becerra. Becerra's had himself a decent season in reserves. He's going to go down the line towards left half forward. Gowdy up high, couldn't take the mark. Almost getting body slammed there. It was Putt and Mullane. Ball to ground, and it's not going to go anywhere further. We'll have another ball up. Remember, 25-minute quarters in reserves. Continuous time as well, if you're just joining us for the first time. It's in the centre. Hand pass comes out over the top to Anderson. Kicks inside 50. It's going to be a 2-on-1 contest. No mark to Daisley. Ball's at ground level. The Lions recover it. Through Mullane. Long kick back to the bullseyes. No mark taken. Hard forward contest here. Riley goes to ground. The umpire says, I will have it once again. Important first 5 minutes here for both sides. Putt again getting the tap out. Comes to Page. He got caught in the tackle. Hand pass to Robertson. Robertson's right foot towards centre half forward. No mark. Recovering that one well for Subiaco. A hand pass over the top. Stegio with the short pass towards left half forward. Claremont looking to do everything to cover that one, but it's over the line for a throw-in. No score here at Fremantle Community Bank Oval. We played about 3 minutes on the Ross's Discount Home Centre scoreboard, and of course Com Systems scoreboard, I should say. I'm glad you can join us on Front Row Screen Sport, your number one in 2021.
Ruck's going up for it. Boundary throw-in just on the pain of 50, wrapped up in the tackle. Numbers are in there. Alvarez and Gowdy managed to latch onto him. As we go back up again, ball was one down by Putt, contested. Putt handballed it out of there. In dispute on the side, Subiaco managed to kick it towards goal, and it's just been saved on the line by Claremont. He's carried it over, and that will be a rush behind for the first score of the afternoon. Claremont now looking to move it out of fullback as the ball's pumped high. And that one's gone and trickled over the boundary. Daisley shoved into the sponsor sign there as the ball now sits on the far side of the ground. Putt contesting for it with Gowdy. Ball's one down. Claremont managed to take it in dispute. Claremont seemed to be controlling it. Trying to clear it out of there was Morgan. But the umpire's blowing his whistle. It'll be a free kick for Subiaco. Ball in the hands of Savini. Savini, the kick inside 50 to the far side. Going up for it, Subiaco. Claremont getting wrapped up now, trying to move it out of there. Struggling with it, and Subiaco turned the ball over one more time. Claremont trying to kick it forward, and the umpire has paid a free kick towards Subiaco. And that'll be 50 metres as well for their troubles as the ball gets carried.
Savini
carrying it all the way to the top of the 50, and he's going to have a shot for Subiaco's first major of the afternoon.
Certainly don't want to concede any 50-metre penalties this early on in a final, especially when there's no second chances. But for Subiaco, this will be massive to get themselves off to a good start.
Savini, no goals won on the season. This for his first, and he's done it and given Subiaco their first major of the afternoon. Lions lead 1-1, Claremont 0.
Great start for Subiaco, and that's on the Com System scoreboard. 7 points plays nil, and Savini getting the Lions off to a very good start here on the CD Dot replay.
And how's that for a first goal of your 2021 campaign in the Rezzies?
Yeah, of course, not just for himself, but for his team as well. In a prelim final, no second chances. Was the winner to go straight on to the grand final to meet Perth next Saturday afternoon, at Optus Stadium. I must say, still on the come down from last night's grand final.
Absolutely.
When Melbourne, historic moment for them, breaking that 57-year premiership drought dating back to 1964.
One of the lucky ones to see it.
Well, it was awfully good, I'll tell you that. One of the 61,000 that were there last night. And if you were there as well, hope you are having yourselves a good recovery wherever you are around Western Australia. Rucks go at it. Putt again, palms it down, snatches it out of the ruck. The hand pass comes over the top. Claremont got numbers around the football. One of them was Beak. Streams through the centre, kicks towards half forward, and the great mark taken by Daisley. He's paid the mark. Releases Beak from outside the 50, goes long, doesn't get all of it, and it is going to go over the line for a throw-in. What's going to be important here for Claremont is just their presence around the centre, because they have got some good midfielders under their disposal. They've got Watson, Anderson, and also Jack Beak, who is going to be a key in that centre dynamic for the Tigers. Another throw-in. Putt in front, gets the tap out. Hard tackle applied by the Lions. Getting the football there was Clinch. Attempting to clear was Clinch, and the mark on his chest will be taken by Mackenzie Lawrence rather. He kicks towards left half back for Subiaco and find Davis, and now they're going to switch up the play here. Moving it quickly, Fulgrave. Switching up the play, they go back to Clinch, who run in unchecked. Looking up with Mullane. Kick beautifully smothered close to the line. And it's going to be a boundary throw in. The smother came in from Luke Knight. And gets himself a couple of high fives for his efforts there. It was a very good effort too, considering how Subiaco were able to get numbers to the front of that football just outside 50. 7 plays nothing on the Com System scoreboard. We're glad you can join us for a little bit of a footy bonus on Front Row Screen Sport ahead of what is going to be a big day next Saturday afternoon at Optus Stadium. It's an up and under kick. Gowdy marked, but the umpire calls play on. Hand pass out to Pearce. He kicks towards half forward. And again, the Lions defence causing a few headaches. That is Clinch, who's taken his second good mark of the afternoon thus far.
Ball out wide, just on the corner of the centre square as it spills out to the far wing. Claremont trying to move it forward, and it'll be rolled over the boundary line on the far side one more time. So 25-minute quarters, about 9 minutes gone in this one. Rolling time through to the 25 minutes. Ruck's going up for it. Subiaco managed to clear it out of there, and they've got numbers heading into the 50, a one-on-one contest. The ball in dispute on the ground, a snap around the body, and it looks good. And it is.
For shade.
Subiaco take a 13-point lead. And things are looking good for the Lions so far.
We'll take a look at the CD Dodd replay here. He just had to gather onto that right foot, Ryan Boucher. And it was a great snap around the corner. He just had to wait a little bit to see if it was going to bounce the right way, and it certainly did. And so the Lions have got the first two of the afternoon thus far. Claremont's defence not looking very disciplined, dare I say it, at the moment. They're letting in Subiaco targets get first to the football pretty easily in the early minutes here. And that's left the Tigers, who will finish the season on top of the ladder. Plenty of games clear under a lot of pressure. Umpire will recall that bounce. We'll have a repeat in proceedings now. Rucks go up. Gordy wins it. Hand pass comes out to Ash. Kicks high towards left half forward for the Lions. Socket off the ground by Bailey Holt towards the forward line. It's going to go over the line for another throw-in. Some 14 minutes remaining in this first quarter. This Colts preliminary final. Subiaco up against Claremont, the winner, to take on Perth next Saturday in the Big Dance. Players converging on the football. Good team tackle. Gowdy, he's done plenty around the football. Goes for the hand pass along the ground. It's taken by Fulgrave. He kicks towards full forward. Good spoil from behind. Boucher, looping hand pass, releases a couple of teammates, but it went rogue at ground level, and the Tigers can recover. The kick towards the outer wing, towards Daisley. He couldn't take the mark. Well played by Treacy. And a couple of Claremont Tigers hovering over the football, but it's going to be over the line for another throw-in just by the bleachers, where the fans have gathered, as there'll be anticipation for the league game later on. Claremont and South Fremantle. And no doubt what will be another epic encounter to back up their 3 encounters from this season. Ball comes out towards Robbins, and also the other number 40 for Claremont. And we're going to have another throw-in on the outer side. 13.5 minutes to go in what is a crucial game for both sides. On the comm system scoreboard live on Front Row Screen Sport.
Claremont with the footy brought straight to ground, and the umpire will take that in. No opportunity. Looking good so far. Subiaco. Claremont just need one to get back into this. Subiaco trying to clear it out of there, and the umpire's blown his whistle. And the free kick paid to Subiaco, who will have another chance to set themselves back up inside 50. Corey Robinson with the footy, and he's run down after playing on. That is holding the ball, and a beautiful tackle there by Daisley of Claremont. Ball on the other side. Daisley kicked it up. Big fly went through his hands. Spilt out of bounds, and it's been paid to Subiaco as it went over.
I must say, Daisley's had a pretty good first quarter. He's been right in the thick of the contest.
He's been solid so far, and here he is again. A kick down the line. Bumped off the footy. Ball's going to trickle over one more time. A good physical contest so far. A boundary throw in on the far side of the ground. Ruck's ready to go up for it. Winning the tap down was Holt. Ball in dispute near the boundary. Hanging over it was Page. Trying to collect it there was Watson. The umpire's going to have it. So another boundary throw in on the far side. Subiaco have been strong at the stoppage so far. A couple of Claremont players have made some considerable contributions. Tap one down by Claremont, and they're going to pick up the rolling ball. And now a big tackle as Morgan wrapped up his opponent. A handball over the top by Holt. Ball travelling Subiaco's way, and it's just bounced off some hands and trickled over the boundary one more time. Just under 11 minutes remaining in this first term. Claremont just need one before the end of the quarter, you'd say. Subiaco would be looking very comfortable if they got one more as well. Subiaco collecting it off the ground. Ball gets pumped down the way of Claremont, just on the edge of the centre square. Subiaco looking to move some more numbers to the footy as they kick it forward. And that one has just spilt over the top of everybody and has gone out of bounds again. Big contest in the ruck so far today.
You'd have to say Putt and Gowdy have got it pretty much even at the moment. You know, Gowdy's got a couple of hit-outs back against Putt, but I'd have to say it's pretty even Stevens at the moment.
Luke Knight and Holt lining up for the tap on this particular occasion, so the ruck matchups have been shifting slightly. So we get 10 minutes again. And yes, just under 10 minutes now, as it's going to trickle over the boundary one more time. Sandon Page couldn't quite get there.
2-1 playing no score. Subiaco with a healthy buffer over Claremont at this time. But Claremont, they can score at least one, and the tide would turn in the context of this game. Ball at ground level, Morgan overrunning it, and the umpire's blown a whistle. Free kick. It's going to go the way of the Tigers. And it'll be taken by Elliott. Elliott's going to go inboard. And now the Tigers are away. The kick inside 50. Leaping high is Zach Mainwaring. What a great mark. The son of a champion, of course, the late, great Chris Mainwaring. And he's really showcased his talents, has Zach Mainwaring, in the last couple of seasons. Originally a Cottesloe junior, and has made his way to Claremont. He's certainly got a lot of potential here.
19 goals, 9 for the season. Zach Mainwaring, and with a big run-up, this could be exactly what the Tigers need.
So for the Tigers first, Mainwaring from 45 metres out. It's across the face for a behind. He made that 19-10 for the 2021 season. But Claremont have got their first score on the board with some 8 minutes to go on the comm system scoreboard. As bringing it back into play now is Mullane. Mullane kicks to the outer side. Very risky kick, a beautiful spoil. The hand pass will come over the top. Open goal to Daisley, and he has put it through. Daisley has the first one on the board for Claremont, and now they're within some 6 points. Under 8 minutes to go on the comm system scoreboard. 13 plays 7, a goal the margin as we see on the CD dot replay. Very costly error for Subiaco with that. Very risky kick into the defensive corridor where the Tigers had a couple of players manned onto him. And then immediately they were able to sense the urgency and give Daisley his first goal of the afternoon.
Absolutely what the Tigers needed. Subiaco have been strong in the midfield and at the contest so far. Subiaco with 2 great goals so far, and a good individual effort on the first. And that's exactly what Claremont need. They need a pounce on those mistakes that this strong team are making.
A goal the margin. Claremont have got one back. Gowdy again getting the tap out. Putt roves it, but it comes back to Gowdy. The hand pass to Elliott along the bullseyes. Beautiful pass out to Sheldrick. Sheldrick towards right half forward. And the great mark taken there by Malone. He plays on. Looping hand pass, releasing a couple of teammates. The kick dribbles into the path of a teammate there in Morgan. Morgan from 35. He gets the hand pass over the top. It comes out there to Daisley for his second. And it's to the right-hand side for a minor score. And it's now 8 points. 1-2-8 playing 2-1-13 here at Fremantle Community Bank Oval. This is the reserves preliminary final. The winner taking on Perth next week.
6.5 minutes to go in this first term. Things starting to look a little bit more even for Claremont as Subiaco kick it out from full-back. Heavily contested on the far side. No one's able to bring it down. Claremont get the ball. Sheldrick had it. It's kicked inside 50. Ball spilling along the ground, and it looks like at this point the umpire will bring it in. So a ball up inside the Claremont attacking 50. And this could be a big moment for the Tigers. Punt goes up for it with Gowdy. Spilling out of there, Ash managed to clear it, and it's been a good intercept mark there, taken by Claremont. Ball in the hands of Luke Knight, who kicks it towards the goal square. Ball spilt out. Subiaco have come up with it, wrapped up hard in the tackle by Mania. And the umpire will take this one in one more time. Putt wins the tap down. Subiaco look to have the advantage on the deck. Ball spills towards the face of goal. Claremont collecting it and rushing it over the line was Daisley, who's been solid in this game so far. Putt winning down the tap, but it's to the advantage of Claremont. Wrapped up hard in a tackle, and another stoppage inside the Claremont attacking 50. A chess match happening here. Neither team can move it. With the footy down low was Riley, and a high tackle has been called against Claremont as the mark's now taken by Ash. And Subiaco, he's motioning to his teammates to slow things down and try and move it outside 50 for the first time in a couple of minutes. Now on the other side is Kobe, full gravy. Gets the handball off. Handball back through. Over the top now. Subiaco's running game looks solid here as the kick goes towards the paint of 50, spills over the top of the contest. Running towards it now, it's Bellard. Ball on the ground. Claremont managed to catch up. Subiaco taking it in. Gowdy's in there. And on the other side of the ground now, a ball up in the Subiaco 50. The big men go up for it, and the tap's one to the advantage of Claremont. This break could look good here as the big fly is taken on the wing and brought in by Max Mania. He kicks it inside 50 or just towards the paint of 50. Malone on the ball. Couldn't quite get it out of there. Subiaco with some numbers around the footy. Claremont trying to dive on top of it, but Subiaco will come up with the advantage. Stabbing the kick forward. Subiaco, and the intercept mark is taken straight back from the Tigers. And kick out to the wing. And it's gone over the boundary line one more time. Not quite getting there was Smallwood.
Some 3 minutes to go in this preliminary final. There's a 5-point lead to Subiaco. Putt winning the tap out. Handpass comes out to Patterson. He gets it back. Kicks down the line towards left half forward. Running onto it is William Riley. He takes the mark on the left half back flank. He goes for the pass out to Watson. Watson will look to move it very quickly here. We haven't got much time left. It's a high kick with the breeze. Morgan flies high, so does Daisley. No mark, umpire calls play on. Long hand pass over the top, and now they're on the move, Claremont, but only to be cut off by Henderson. Breaks through one tackle, doesn't break through the second. Kicks across his body, up and under kick. And in the end, a fine mark taken by number 65 in Connor Ferrone. Ferrone goes across the ground as the breeze begins to pick up here at Fremantle Oval. We've had quite a tricky day weather-wise. We had a lightning strike during the Colts game, and that brought it to a little bit of a halt. And now we're getting a bit of wind blowing across the ground. No mark to Bourget. And now the Lions again on the move. A kick across the forward line. It's out there towards number 37, number 57 there in Stegio. And Stegio towards an open goal, bangs it through. And Subiaco have got a nice bridge heading into quarter time.
Stegio read the fall of the ball perfectly there. One bounce off the deck straight into his hands. Dead eye straight through the middle. The goal on the run. Subiaco taking a commanding position in this contest.
This brand of football that they're playing, getting the ball across the ground and moving it out wide, that's their brand. And considering that they've had to do it the hard way a lot of the time, you know, you wouldn't want anything less from Subiaco's side that have gone through the final series from 4th place. And so that goal from Stegio gives them an 11-point lead with about 40 seconds left in this opening quarter. Gowdy and Putt again will go at it. Gowdy gets the tap out. Overrunning it there was Gowdy, but he caught his opponent high, and that is going to be Patterson with the free kick. Along the centre square. He's going to go across the ground towards a one-on-one, spoiled from behind. Creasy gets it out, looking for Alvarez. Alvarez hand pass, fumbled by Beak. Did he get caught high? Umpire calls play on. Page, and there's the siren. A handy goal for Subiaco late in that quarter sees them have an 11-point advantage in this reserves preliminary final against Claremont. I no doubt Subiaco would want to address the areas that they got right in those final 3 minutes when they started to really move the ball across the ground. Claremont, they'll have a lot of work to do in the second quarter if they want to get themselves back into this game. Look, Claremont, they got that handy goal to stop the flow from Subiaco, but in the end, that goal from Stegio late in that opening quarter sees Subiaco with a handy buffer.
Yeah, really good work from the Subiaco Smalls. Both of their goals have been ball spilling over the, well, 2 of their 3 goals have been ball spilling over the top of one-on-one contest, then being able to bring it in and in open space, bang it home. So really solid work from the Subiaco forwards. They've done a great job hemming Claremont in. Claremont, on occasion, have shown flashes of brilliance, and they were the top side all season, 15-1 record, and a loss to Perth last week has seen them put into this situation playing the prelim, and now they've got a bit of work to do to save their season.
And they certainly do indeed, with that 11-point deficit that Claremont have against Subiaco. We'll be back after the break here at Fremantle Community Bank Oval for the second quarter action, where it is Subiaco leading 3-1-19 to Claremont 1-2-8 in this WAFL Reserves preliminary final here on Front Row Screens.
Standing on the edge of my time.
Shutterguard has been installing Perth's best shutters for over 30 years. With no advertising signs on your front lawn and no sales gimmicks, visit shutterguard.com.au.
Welcome back to Fremantle Community Bank Oval. In this reserves preliminary final, OPTUS WAFL Premiership season. And it is Subiaco side doing it the hard way this year, coming from 4th place. They are leading the top of the ladder, Claremont side. 1-8 to 3-1-19. Paul Perskin, Luke Worthington with you in the box. Thanks to Front Row Screen Sport, your number 1 in 2021. And Luke, Subiaco, they got the start they were after the first couple of goals, and then a late one from Lewis Daisley seemed to have stemmed the tide in Claremont's favour, but then that late goal from Stegio brought Subiaco back into that position of ascendancy as we go to the CD Dot highlights.
And looking at the highlights here, this is one of Subiaco's goal. Their only set shot goal. The other 2 have been on the run. Borchet, Savini and Sturgio, the goal kickers for Claremont. Daisley, the lone goal scorer. For Subiaco, and Daisley, the lone goal scorer for Claremont. As we look at the disposal leaders, Oliver Sheldrick with 9 disposals is leading the charge for his Claremont side, followed by Benjamin Elliott. And on the other side, Connor Patterson with 9, Isaac Clinch, Lachlan Davis, Cody Fulgrady, Patrick Mullane, and Corey Robinson, all with 4. So Subiaco spreading the load around quite evenly, and some work to be done. Inside 50 count, dead even as we look at it now. And the hit-out count is being won heavily by Claremont, 17-10. So solid work from the Claremont Rucks.
I just think Subiaco's work in the midfield has been a little bit more effective, but also how they're moving the ball out of defensive 50. They're often playing it to the wide side, especially from the half-back flank, and moving it along the wings. Late in the quarter, we saw particularly Lachlan Henderson, have a hard run towards left centre wing, and then moving the ball quickly towards their half-forward line. That's something that Subiaco would need to do more often if they want to pull further away.
Yep.
But if you look at Claremont, they're going to have to play direct. They're really going to have to suck Subiaco into that corridor in order to get those hard balls, but they have to get first to it. Their desperation just wasn't there in that first quarter for much of it, especially in the first 5 minutes when Subiaco got a run on.
Work to be done by the competition's top side.
Well, it certainly is, especially after losing the second semi-final last week in what was heartbreaking fashion. Richardson got that goal right on the siren to sink the Tigers. Of course, their opponents being Perth. But no doubt Claremont will fire back up in this second quarter, as they need to.
Subiaco, one of 3 teams in the reserves competition to finish with a 9-7 record. And then went ahead last week and were able to knock off West Perth by quite a significant margin. And now carrying that form through, they could see themselves go from 4th into a grand final.
Be a big achievement for Glenn McCullum, but also Claremont will be an equally big achievement for them to go to their 3rd straight grand final, having lost in 2019 to West Perth and last year to East Perth right on this very ground. But no doubt when they get that spot in the grand final, should they make it today, they would want to redeem themselves. But they've got a job at hand first against this Subiaco side, who are looking much more polished and a lot more aggressive at the football in the first 25 minutes of this game. As we're about to get the second quarter underway, a vital term coming up. I'm glad you can join us on Front Row Screen Sport. Subiaco by 11 points here at Fremantle Community Bank Oval. The last pitch for the grand final. Gowdy and Putt going at it. Gowdy wins the tap out. It comes out to Beak. Beak's kick towards the half-forward line. Bounces over the top of Daisley. And now the Lions defence needing to get desperate as well. The hand pass comes out to Fulgrave. Kicks high towards left centre wing. Leaping there was Mackenzie. He couldn't take the mark. And now Claremont are able to get a good attack going. 2-on-1. No mark. Ball spills to ground level. Hand pass comes to Beverley. He overruns it. And now Claremont on the attack. The kick intended for a target. Bourget, rather, for Subiaco. And it's going to be over the line for a throw-in. Subiaco again getting that first entry. And they'll be able to have an opportunity for the first score of this second quarter. Holt in the ruck. He gets the tap out. Morgan under pressure. He goes round the corner. Close to the boundary line. Leaping high was a Subiaco player. No mark. Hand pass. Kick by Mullane towards full forward. Great mark under pressure.
Beautiful mark.
He had to leap high. Courage in the air. That was Luke Knight. Played himself a good first half down at fullback. And now he drives it towards the half-back flank. And finds Minia. And he is sizing up his options now. Drives it towards the outer wing. Players fly, no mark. Daisley. Good pick up and backs it up with a good hand pass to Beaky. Kicks into open space. But getting onto the end of that there was Savini. Is he going to get the sit? Yes, he does. He swings onto the right foot towards the half-back line. Morgan, good pick up. He's going to go over the top and find Alex and find his teammate there in Pearce. But he couldn't take the mark. Hand pass, back to Pearce. He snaps from 35. It's going to bounce through.
Oh,
Great goal from Pearce. He gets one back for the Tigers, and that's the start that they wanted. Some 2.5 minutes into the second quarter, Pearce gets his first. And straight away, it's now back to 5 points, 2-2-14 to 3-1-19 as we go to the CD dot replay.
and look at this. You don't see it here on the replay, but a really favourable bounce there for Pearce as he threw it towards goal. Really good follow-up effort from him. Took a big fly, had it smothered out of his hands, backed it up with the second effort, and he's given Claremont their second of the afternoon, bring them within 5 points.
And we talked about during the quarter-time break that Claremont needed to get on the ascendancy early and get more desperate at the football. There was a perfect illustration of that. Can they keep it up? That remains to be seen. Now 5 points to margin, just like that, in the early minutes of this second quarter here at Fremantle Community Bank Oval. The breeze really picking up, blowing from right to left. 19 plays 14. Putt got the tap out, and now Subiaco clear it out of the centre, but an easy mark there to Watson. Spectacular player, especially overhead, but at ground level he's just as brilliant. Watson from half back. He kicks towards right centre wing. Puck favoured by the bounce, but he couldn't take clean possession. Gowdy gets the hand pass out. The kick from Smallwood towards right half forward. Daisley favoured by the bounce, but great defensive pressure there from Isaac Clinch, and it's going to go over the line. In fact, it was Henderson who put Daisley off his position. And we'll have a boundary thrown right on the paint of 50.
Claremont doing a better job already at the start of this second term, holding the territory advantage now. One more would put them in front and get things back where they want them. Subiaco win the tap down. Claremont running onto it now. Ball still in dispute. It's being knocked around. And it's going to be pushed just towards the paint of the Claremont 50. Not being able to get it out of the tackle, Subiaco. Going to ground was Bremen. And the ball's gone high inside 50 into the contest. And the intercept mark was taken in by the Lions. And now Guelphy will have the chance to clear it from the defensive 50. Ball goes down the line. Big contest around the footy. Bringing it in was Sheldrick. Ball spilling around, and Subiaco managed to get the better of it. Marks taken on the commentary wing. And chipped forward into a one-on-one contest. Beautiful spoil there by Blight. Managed to prevent Borchet from taking the mark. Really would have opened things up for Subiaco. Boundary throw in near side. Going up for it, it's Putt and Gowdy. Ball's in dispute now. Subiaco managed to come up with it. Handball by Beverley. Ball still spilling around. Whacking it onto his boot was the Claremont player, and it'll spill over the boundary line as it entered the contest. So Claremont looking to set things up in their attacking 50 one more time and take their first lead of the afternoon. Putt roved it himself, snapping it around the body's beak. Ball's high in the air, a one-on-one contest. It spills to ground. Moving it out of there was Full Graby. Pumping it onto his boot, Savini. Ball gets kicked through the middle. It was nearly brought in by Ferrone. And back inside the Claremont 50 as it goes over the boundary line one more time.
Well, Claremont have been able to lock in Subiaco inside their 50 very well. They've got the forward pressure going. Can they keep it up and convert it on the scoreboard like they did earlier? Well, that's a big question. They just have to be desperate. They've got players like Smallwood, Daisley, and also Mainwaring that are key targets in that forward 50.
Boundary throw in far side. This game will be won and lost at the stoppage with the number of them that have occurred, and a great intercept mark brought in by Subiaco. They have the chance to set things up now. Full Graby puts it onto the boot. Ball's travelling out wide. Mark's taken in. Subiaco need to slow things down here and move it into their territory. Beautiful mark taken in by Ash. Strong pair of hands from Ash as he kicks it forward just to the top of 50. Running onto it is Farone. Goes over the line on the far side of the ground. Out right half forward for Subiaco.
It's on the half forward line for Subiaco. They'd love another goal to stem the flow that Claremont has got in this term. Putt got the tap out, and Subiaco with numbers at the front of the ball. Dribble towards the forward 50. Hand pass out to Farone. And the short pass comes into full forward, but a great intercept by Knight. That's 2 good intercept marks in this quarter. And now they're going to move it across the ground. Treacy. Treacy over the top to Beak. They link up well. Beak kicks down the line towards a one-on-one. Good use of the body by Mainwaring. He couldn't hang on to that one. And it's over the line for a throw-in. Good second effort from Mainwaring. And we'll have a throw-in just by the Tigers bench. Tell you what, also, Caden Fulgrave, hasn't he been sensational in defensive 50? Despite leaking that 1 goal, he's been really good, blocking every entry, taking a couple of good intercept marks. Under pressure on the lines, but now they can release it through Patterson. Kick towards the forward 50, and Jacob Blight reels that one in inside defensive 50. It's going to go towards Wilson. Over the top to Morgan. Hospital hand pass. Great hip and shoulder there by Ash. And that allows Subiaco another entry inside forward 50. But again, Claremont with greater numbers at the football are able to repel. Kick towards the bullseyes. Borchet goes across the ground, and that's a good kick. Finding Robbins. Robbins goes towards the forward pocket. And a good spoil from behind there by Jacob Blight. You can call that a 1%er intercept mark. And then a spoil inside defensive 50 to repel Subiaco's entry. It'll be a throw-in about 45 metres out from goal. Subiaco, they'd love one back to extend their advantage. They lead it by 5 points on the comm system scoreboard. 15.5 minutes to go in this second quarter. Players leap high. Elliott releasing a teammate. It's kicked down the line. Mainwaring in a one-on-one there with Farone, and he takes a good mark under pressure. Immediately disposes to clinch. And now they're going to move it across the ground now. Patterson. And now the Lions are away on the outer side. Here's Davis. Long kick. They'll contest about 30 metres out. And 3 in a row for Claremont. This time Riley inside defensive 50 repels Subiaco, and now they're on the counter-attack. 19 plays 14, and lucky not to be 50 there. Mark taken by Tyron Smallwood. He's had a few key possessions in this second quarter. Kicks down the line to the outer wing. Players fly high. Ball finally shuttled out the front of the pack. It's an up and under kick. Umpire's going to pay the mark. It's been taken brilliantly there by Corey Robinson. Robinson kicks across the ground. Patterson. He too has had a very good second quarter. Sizing up his options now. Patterson down the line to right half forward. Great mark again by Kai Hayward. In fact, it's Blight, I should say.
The
Blight with
Claremont
2 good
intercept
intercepts.
markers have just been spectacular in this second term, and it's what's holding them together.
You're absolutely right, Luke. It's repelling Subiaco's entry, but with the way Subiaco are building up the space, when they go on the counter-attack, it would set Claremont back. But the way Claremont are moving it, it's been nothing short of brilliant. Smallwood, he snaps around the corner and finds Malone. And he'll have a shot from about 35 metres out with the breeze to put the Tigers in front for the first time. Now this will make coaching staff and the fans here quite happy with the way they've charged back. Darren Harper leading the reserve side today. So Malone from 35 metres out on a difficult angle. Drop punt on its way. Straight through the middle. Malone never looked like missing that one. And the Tigers in front for the first time this afternoon. They go to 3-2-20 to 3-1-19 on the comm system scoreboard. Claremont, the minor premiers in the reserves, back in the ascendancy.
Beautiful strike there from Malone. He was 9 goals, 12 on the season. Did a beautiful job slotting it through there. Claremont with their first lead of the afternoon, and this term has been led by the Claremont intercept markers. Blight has been spectacular.
Wilson as well.
Wilson has also been, as well as a couple of their other defenders, really just creating space.
Importantly, they've kicked the last 2 goals, Claremont, so they've got themselves on a really good run here. Subiaco, they're just seeming to be a little unsettled at the moment.
Ruck's going up for it as we get back underway. Ball's in dispute on the deck. Subiaco managed to bring it in, but it's gone over the top. It's brought in by Claremont, wrapped up in the air. And now Subiaco have managed to pump it forward. Is it going to be another mark taken in by the Claremont defenders? Not quite, but doing well to try and get it out of there. And now it's been turned right back over. The shot on goal goes to the right-hand side. Unlucky there for Lawrence McKenzie. That was a rare mistake from this very solid group of defenders for Claremont. Running it straight out of fullback is Cameron Anderson. Kicks it to the far side. Off hands. It goes across the line.
I could see some of the fans as well that were at the grand final last night. They've made their way here to Fremantle Oval. That's dedication right here for our footy fans in WA.
So a tie game, just over 10 minutes to go in this term. Ball spills over the top of the ruck contest. Subiaco managing to bring it in. Really good job to clear it out of there. Flyers come through. Claremont with the ball as it's disputed on the edge of the centre square, but the umpire's going to bring it in on this occasion. Getting wrapped up hard was McKenzie. Punt won the tap down. Trickles over to the far side. Subiaco putting it back inside 50, and the mark was nearly taken low to ground as coming over the top of it's Bremen. It's moved out to the far side and Claremont managed to bring it in. The mark's taken by Beak.
Beak has been really good in the centre and in the defensive end in this first half. He's going to be essential in the second half should Claremont get back the lead.
Beak kicks it far and wide. A kick over the top. Just missed the intended target. And a boundary throw in on the far side, centre of the ground, just under the scoreboard. And as it sits currently, both teams 3-2-20 on the comm system scoreboard. Boundary throw in. Ruck's going up for it. Putt and Gowdy. Putt won the tap down, but it's to the advantage of Claremont. Trying to move around with it was Morgan. On the far side now, Alvarez. Kick goes in the Claremont direction, but it's taken in straight away by Subiaco. Didn't get all of the kick. It goes straight back to Claremont. A handball over the top is brought in beautifully by Beak, who puts it inside 50. And running onto it was Main Waring, who's found the safety of the boundary inside the attacking 50 for Claremont.
But they've got it in their area now. They've got it inside their attacking 50, as you said, and providing another big chance for Claremont to add some scoreboard pressure. They've kicked the last 2 in this second quarter. But Subiaco with that behind, tying the game. Putt roves it to himself, but he got caught. Luckily not holding the ball from his point of view, and the umpire says, give it to me. Putt working it to the front. Shuttling it out there was a couple of Claremont players. Will be another boundary throw-in. Contest about 35 metres out. Claremont from their goal. They'd love another one to get back the lead. Putt again palms it down. Getting caught there, Main Waring. team tackle. Be another throw-in. Some 8 minutes to go on the comm system scoreboard. Next few minutes crucial for both sides. Putt times it down, beat the hand pass. Well played. Hand pass over the top, releases Treacy, goes for the snap from 30, it's coming back. But it bends the wrong way. And it is a behind, and Claremont have the lead by a point. 7.5 minutes to go. And then the Lions move it out immediately. But it didn't go the way in which they intended. It's out of bounds on the full. The free kick will go the way of the Tigers on their half-forward line. And this is Minia. He's going to back himself here, you'd think. Especially with the breeze that's blowing across the ground. So Minia from on the paint of 50. Runs around and it swings to the left for a minor score. And now the Tigers lead it by 2 points. 7 minutes to go. And the Lions are away from fullback. Kicks to the centre. Huge spoil from behind. Lions with numbers at the back of the football. Borchett was one of them, but the ball beats him and his opponent over the line for a throw-in.
Scores just starting to favour Claremont now after the two behinds. They lead by 2 points. Their second lead of the afternoon after Subiaco tied the game back up. Ball hit the ground, spilled out in the Claremont direction. Now pumping it inside 50. Could they be a chance here, as it was nearly brought in, but the Subiaco's defenders done well. Now Claremont with a chance here. Holding it in is Daisley. Kick across the face of goal is brought in. And a beautiful mark taken overhead.
Mainwaring.
And it was, looks like it was Guelphy who brought that one in.
It was Guelphy.
And Guelphy now from directly in front to give the Tigers an 8-point lead in the second term. Straight through the middle. The Tigers getting things back on their terms. With just over 5 minutes remaining in this one. 4-4-28. They lead Subiaco 3-2-20 on the comms system scoreboard.
They've kicked the last 3 now, Claremont, and have got a good run going in this second quarter. They've just done everything right, especially they owing it all to their work in the defensive 50. Those intercept marks have worked really well, and they've frustrated Subiaco to the brink of those turnovers in their defensive 50 and letting Claremont in for some easy chances at goal. That's where Glenn McCullum would need to really address his Subiaco charges on some of the basics, because they're not getting some of the basics right, I feel, in this second quarter. In comparison to what they did right in the first, especially when they got that 11-point advantage at quarter time.
So, Putt winning the tap down, and the umpire's blown his whistle. Holding the man is the call. And that will be in favour of Subiaco. So Subi now a free kick right in the middle of the corridor. Puts it onto his boot, did Beverly. Kick out wide, taken in by Full Graby. He pumps it inside 50, ball's high, and a beautiful intercept mark brought in by Jacob Blight. Easily his third of the term that he's taken in the defensive 50. Blight chipped it through, and the mark was taken in. Choosing to play on, has support, and as it gets chipped out to Francis Watson. Watson put it onto his boot, having to get low to take the mark. Was Alvarez, who switches it out wide. And the kick travels down the line. Strong pair of hands overhead by Gowdy. The big ruck as he kicks it forward. Claremont stringing this sequence together quite nicely. Kick goes forward and travels inside 50. The Flyers went up for it. Now Claremont moving it. They could have a chance here. Handball over the top to Beak on the left boot, and it's through. Tigers lead by 14. And a monumental shift in the momentum of this game during the second term.
Let's have a look here on the CD dot replay. They just kept going for those handballs to the open man, and Subiaco not directly chasing. And that's what's really setting Claremont apart from this side at the moment. They just keep on attacking and attacking. But again, all their work is owed to that defensive 50. Jacob Blight, easily the best player on the ground in this first half.
Yep. Without question, has been absolutely instrumental in just shutting down Subiaco completely as they enter their attacking 50. Not a thing they've been able to do in this term to stop these intercept markers.
So Subiaco, like Claremont after quarter time, will have a lot of things to address at half time with less than 2 minutes to go in this second quarter. Bounce favours Gowie, but he got the tap out. Went out there to Elliott. And he got caught in a really good tackle as the umpire throws it back up. Putt again, winning the hit out. Socket off the ground by Page. Towards the front edge of centre. A nice hip and shoulder there by Knight. We'll have a throw in. A minute and a half to go. Subiaco have got it on their forward half. Gowie works it to the front, but he loses the palm down to Putt. Hand pass to the far edge of the ground. Patterson gets caught before he was able to dish it off. A little exchange, pleasantries being exchanged between a couple of the players there. Possibly one more chance for Subiaco. Gowie in front, but the umpire's blown a whistle. There is some holding on. That's going to go the way of Claremont. That was Gowie. Held onto in that contest. And Gowie will get the free kick, and he can chew up a little bit of time here. We've got only 30 seconds to go on the comm system scoreboard. Gowie bombs it long towards the edge of the bullseyes. One-on-one. No mark taken, but the Tigers maybe have got one last dash towards the forward line. Daisley, was he held? Umpire calls play on. Players going down. Smallwood in front, and he got charged at it, but there's the siren. And Claremont, 5-4-34, leading Subiaco 3-2-20 at the major break in this WAFL Reserves preliminary final. Well, again, Luke, Claremont, they owe their position to this game for their work on the defensive half and shutting down Subiaco's forward line. The way they did it was very aggressive, and that's really frustrated Subiaco, especially in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, a lot of half-time adjustments for Subiaco to make on their game plan entering the attacking 50. I think that going in the air is no longer an option.
Mate, you'd have to win the ball at ground level against this Claremont side, who are looking really good in the second quarter. Blight was nothing short of spectacular. He took around about 3 or 4 intercept marks inside defensive 50 for this game thus far. Riley was good, so was Wilson. Guelphy and Alvarez making a really big impact in that forward line. Watson, he's done his bit. Subiaco, they were unable to really go on the counter-attack to Claremont's run, and that's where they'll need to really work on their basics, really, because I felt they haven't got their basics right in that second quarter, and they'll need to get back to it in the second half. Half-time here in this WAFL Reserves preliminary final. It is the Tigers leading by 14 points over Subiaco. We'll be back with the halftime stats with Luke Worthington and yours truly, Paul Persick, after the break, and our special halftime package. Don't go anywhere.
Shatterguard has been installing Perth's best shutters for over 30 years. With no advertising signs on your front lawn and no sales gimmicks, visit shatterguard.com.au.
Welcome back to Fremantle Community Bank Oval, the reserves preliminary final for OPTUS WAFL Premiership Season 2021. And it is the top of the ladder, Claremont, right back in the ascendancy after kicking a very big haul of goals. They kicked the first couple of goals in the second quarter before Subiaco were able to get one back, and then Claremont going on another big run in the last 5 minutes to lead by 14 points, 5-4, 34-3, 2-20. On this sunny but breezy Sunday afternoon. Paul Persick and Luke Worthington with you in the commentary box for Front Row Screen Sport, your number one in 2021. And Luke, when Subiaco got the ascendancy at quarter time, it was addressed that, of course, Harper, the Claremont coach, Damien Harper, the Claremont coach, would need a lot of work to do to make some of those adjustments to the Claremont side and making sure they got back into the position that they're in, and they did just that. Yep. They were able to get the goals, they were able to put Subiaco under pressure with those intercept marks inside defensive 50. But also what they were really good at is they showed a little bit more intent at ground ball. Subiaco, they need a little more of that in the second half.
Yep. Two of Subiaco's first 3 goals came from the ball being spilled inside 50 along the ground. It's been picked up out of a one-on-one contest, and that was how they scored 2 of their first 3. Claremont seemed to clog up the 50 a lot more in the second term. They had 3 players that just really stood up well for them. Jacob Blight has been the best player in this game so far. He probably had 3 or 4 intercept marks in that term, and probably in total in that term, I think that Claremont would have taken it out of the air maybe 8 times as the ball travelled inside 50, and that's been what's doing it.
The point that you made before the break was Subiaco were going for the high ball inside 50 very often. I can agree with you on this. This cannot be an option in the second half. Subiaco are going to have to get more desperate at the ground ball. They've got players that can win the ball at ground level. Bremen, Fulgrave inside defensive 50. Mackenzie Lawrence, he's done a lot around the football. And so is his counterpart in Kieran Gowdy, who's had a couple of solid hit-outs in the second quarter. But they just need to be more desperate at ground level, Subiaco. I mean, the way they just kept going for the high ball and conceding those intercept marks in their forward 50, could have seen Subiaco maybe a goal in front at half-time, but it just wasn't to be, with players like Blight, Riley and Wilson wreaking havoc, and also Luke Knight, who is among one of our top 5 best players this afternoon thus far.
Yep. And look, it's an adjustment that can be made. I think they showed in the first half that winning the ball at ground level inside 50 is what's going to do it for them. It's just a matter of how they can make that adjustment and move forward from being under a little bit of pressure now, trailing by 14 points, so a bit of work to do.
Claremont by 14 points at half-time, 5-4, 34-3, 2-20. And now it's time to get into our special half-time package here on WAFL Preliminary Final Day in round 17. At Leaderville Oval, Subiaco took on West Perth, and we sent our super slow-mo cam boundary side. So let's take a look at some fantastic vision of the players in full action, thanks to the team at Front Row Screens.
Every time I need a rescue, hanging on the verge of breakdown. Even though I try to replace you, the loneliness makes me break down. Every time I need a rescue, hanging on the try to replace you, but loneliness makes me break down. Every time I need a rescue, hanging on the verge of breakdown, waiting for a touch, you say no day. Nothing could really take your place.
Welcome back to Fremantle Community Bank Oval. Second half, not too far away from getting underway. It is 14 points. The advantage Claremont's way, 5-4-34 to 3-2-20. Paul Persick and Luke Worthington with you in the commentary box. Lukey, we know a big festival of football in WA in full swing. And what a night it was last night over at Optus Stadium. For those at the 61,000 that were there, history was made. Melbourne ending a 57-year premiership drought, Lukey, and they did it in dominating fashion. What a night it was for Perth and for WA footy.
Yeah, absolutely. Really special night, and you were one of the lucky few that ended up getting to be there. So, really special night. I was watching it on the TV, and Melbourne, they came out strong, and really, I think at that point, a lot of people would have thought that they had the game almost in their hands pretty early in the first term. Western Bulldogs did a great job to turn around. Caleb Daniel was unbelievable for the Western Bulldogs, really hard done by. So were Bontempelli and Treloar. Caleb Daniel had 37 disposals as a
losing
defender,
team.
yeah,
In a losing team, you know, especially working his magic in that defensive half, but also 16 goals from the 16-minute mark of the third quarter until the end of the game. They really tore it up, did the Demons, and you know, for those Melbourne figures that have been there, you know, every step of the way since their last premiership, of course, even the ones that are no longer with us, the great Norm Smith, great Robbie Flower, the great Jim Steins, that premiership was certainly for them and everyone involved with the Melbourne Football Club. And 61,118 there at Optus Stadium. That is a figure that will live forever in West Australian football memory. The biggest crowd ever to attend a WA football match, and no doubt everyone that is here today, if they were at the grand final, still on the come down process, so to speak, after what was an amazing night, a spectacular night and a spectacular week too here in Perth, around Western Australia with the Premiership Cup Tour and all the events around the grand final. So all we have to say is thank you, Perth, and thank you, WA, for turning a very special event on. It was certainly something to remember. Back here at Fremantle Community Bank Oval, Claremont, as we mentioned, they've got the momentum their way. Their work inside defensive 50 was backed up by the goal kicking of course, Malone, Pearce, and a couple of very important goals set up by Daisley, and, of course, he's kicked one as well. We'll go to the numbers, Luke, with that in mind. And Riley Morgan, while he's got 12, and Sheldrick has also got 12. It's also been the players in defensive 50 that have been a real big turning point for the Tigers after quarter time.
Yeah, Jacob Blight listed with having 3 marks. So does Luke Knight, Francis Watson, Zach Manwaring has a couple, and Sam Alvarez also has 3 marks. So really strong performances from those guys on the Claremont side. Inside 50 count is Subiaco are trailing by 2 inside 50s. It's 21-19, and you really wouldn't think it. I think that's a testament to the Claremont defence. The way they've rebounded out of 50 has been spectacular so far. Free kick count being favoured. 3 more free kicks for Claremont, and they're also leading the disposal count quite significantly as Subiaco lead the tackle count by 4.
There's the tackle count for Subiaco. That's an important prospect because they are a really good tackling side, but that's the only thing that, you know, they've been able to make up, you know, for their lack of pressure around the football and their lack of chasing, especially when Claremont have been in transition from defence into attack. But they can address that. Their tackling is going to be really good in this second half, I feel, if they are able to come back, because they've done it the hard way, Subiaco, this year in reserves. You know, they've come from 4th place and they just kept on playing that hard football. They won in that knockout semi-final last week to progress to the preliminary final, and the way they did it was nothing short of brilliant. We're going to go to another break, but when we do come back, all the second half action of this preliminary final. 5-4-34 to 3-2-20. Claremont leading Subiaco by 14 points here at Fremantle Oval. We'll be back after this.
Shutterguard has been installing Perth's best shutters for over 30 years. With no advertising signs on your front lawn and no sales gimmicks, visit shutterguard.com.au.
Points the difference in favour of Claremont over Subiaco in this WAFL Reserves preliminary final. The Tigers are back out on the field and the momentum is with them, but they will not be complacent, you can bet that, nor will Subiaco, who have got a bit of work coming up for them in this second half. Paul Persick and Luke Worthington with you at Fremantle Community Bank Oval, ahead of what is going to be a massive league game. Don't forget, of course, South Fremantle and Claremont in the WAFL preliminary final, the league prelim a little later on. No doubt that is certainly going to be an electric game as well, just like this one at the moment, with the Tigers leading 5-4 to 3-2. Paul Persick and Luke Worthington with you. Luke, just on the league game a little bit later on, who's your tip for that one?
Look, I'm going to say that South Fremantle will get the job done.
You're going to go the Bulldogs?
Yep.
South Fremantle by how much?
I'm going to say 20 points.
20 points?
Yep.
Well, I'm going to go the other way. I'm firm on the belief, and still going on this week, Luke, that South Fremantle's luck has run out. You know, especially how banged up they were after the second semi against Subiaco. South Fremantle, they've got to do it the hard way now in a prelim against a Claremont side that have been absolutely aggressive. They've been fantastic, especially in the second half. They ran over West Perth in the first semi-final last week over at Revo Fitness Stadium. A big second half for them, including that third quarter, which got them back into the game. And I reckon they'll continue on with the job. So for me, Claremont, by about 10 points.
Yeah, I think just mainly the home field advantage, I think, is what's going to bring South Fremantle over the line. They won the grand final here last year.
And they haven't been beaten this year here either.
Exactly. So, you know, Claremont, they're a very good side, but we have seen them be a little inconsistent from time to time. And it's going to be a huge contest and a very exciting one. But I just think, you know, with the artillery that they have on that South Fremantle team, that they should be able to get it done today.
Yeah, they've got plenty of weapons at both ends of the ground. It should be a great game a little later on. And, of course, that league game, we'll see who will join Subiaco in the big dance next week. And Subiaco, speaking of them, their reserve side are back onto the field. They know they've got a big second half ahead of them. The third quarter is really going to set the tide for this game as they run out onto the ground. Players like Bremen, Borchett, Beverley, and also Lewis Punt. They know they need to get a lot more of the football. They were good in the first half. Ash was a value contributor, even when Subiaco was getting overrun in that second quarter, conceding those goals. Davis was good. So was Isaac Clinch on that defensive 50. considering the pressure that he was under. Bailey Holt has been exchanging in the ruck with Lewis Pudd. And there you see Guelphy, who kicked that goal late in the second quarter to give Claremont that 14-point buffer. That tall timber for the Claremont side, especially inside forward 50, that's also a key because they've got Guelphy, they've got Treacy, and they've also got Daisley, who came off the bench just to add more of that spark in that tall timber forward line for the Tigers. That is going to be crucial in the second half, especially when Claremont get the ball out of the centre.
Yeah, absolutely, Paul. And yeah, some big adjustments needed by Subiaco. Claremont adjusted to exactly what they needed to at the end of quarter time, and now it's Subiaco's time to match them.
Who would you back in this second half? Would you still say, Claremont, they've got too much of an advantage to surrender the game, or can Subiaco come back? Because they've played a lot of hard football in this final series.
Look, it's a toss-up. I think that it is going to be close. I think that Subiaco are going to maybe get within one, but at this point, I think that Claremont, what they showed in that second term after a slow start, was some really impressive footy.
It might be the turnaround that could set them up to victory, but still a big half of football to go. Riley Morgan, who's been in and out of the league and reserve side this year. Now that if he has himself a big second half, that he'll look to earn a place in the league grand final next week, should Claremont make it later this afternoon. Also, Alvarez, Knight, and also Gowdy among the 10 best players of this game. Second half not far away from getting underway. If you're just joining us for the first time, Subiaco leading Claremont, and we welcome you to our front row screens coverage. Little bonus for you ahead of the grand final next week. Certainly is going to be a big week for WA football, just like it was for the AFL grand final, what is a big festival of football here in this great state. It was 3-1 to 1-2 at quarter time, and Subiaco were held to just one behind in the second quarter, while Claremont kicked 4 in the second quarter. Could that set them up for victory? Only time will tell. We know Subiaco, they are a fighting side as well. And they'll look to make this one very close indeed. It'll be a vital 25 minutes coming up. And the crowd still filing in here at Fremantle Community Bank Oval, anticipating the main event at about 40 minutes past 2. And there the Claremont bench getting themselves ready. And a nice little wave there to the camera by Elliott. Hello, Ben Elliott. Maybe a hello to his fans as well. Claremont 5-4 to 3-2. A big second half coming up to see who will take on Perth next week in the big dance at Optus Stadium. But it's a big hour of football coming up. Good bounce by the umpire. One down by Gowie. Claremont with numbers around the football. Morgan around the corner to the edge of the centre square. Trying to evade a couple of tacklers there was Mullane, but the umpire says give it to me. And it'll be a repeat in proceedings. Putt got the tap out, but Morgan with the clearance towards the forward 50. One-on-one. Guelphy couldn't take the mark. Good pressure by Savini. And that allows Subiaco to reset out a defensive 50, but the kick was a disappointing one. And a great mark under pressure. And then it's taken by Blight once again. What a game he's having. Blight kicks inside the 50. Smallwood, fine mark. Virtually uncontested. Smallwood's going to go inboard and find Minia. And this will give the Tigers a chance at a 20-point advantage early on in this third quarter.
Max Minia, their leading goal scorer of the season. 25 goals, 15 he sat at in his 2021 campaign, and this is a big one. This is for a commanding position in this contest.
From a tight angle, it's bending back with the breeze, but too far. And it is to the right-hand side for a minor score. The margin 15 points on the comm system scoreboard on this Sunday afternoon. The weather has turned for the better, as Fulgrave will reset it back into play for Subiaco. Fulgrave sizing up his options now. He's going to go to the outer side of the ground. Good spoil there from the Claremont defender. And it's going to be over the line for a throw-in. And earlier today, it was a real tight one in the Colts. And ultimately, it went the way of Swan Districts by just 2 points, 9-9 to 9-7. And they will meet Claremont next week in the Colts Grand Final. That one will surely be a ripper as well. Fulgrave recovers it out of the ruck. Bounces obligingly there for Elliott. Swings onto the right foot. A great mark, Fulgrave. Oh no, that's Bremen rather. Bremen's going to go onto the left foot, down the line towards the outer wing. And now the Lions have got themselves on the counter-attack. Kick inboard, finds Patterson. Patterson's kick partially smothered towards half forward. Claremont have got themselves going, not so fast, says a Subiaco player, and holding the ball is going to be the call. It's Beverly who applied the strong tackle, and now he's going to send Subiaco up forward. Great spoil there from Pearce. Claremont now back under pressure. They've recovered the ball out of the defensive 50. Morgan loops it over the top. Hospital hand pass to a player under pressure. The tackle on Savini. Tackle by Savini rather. And it is going to be a boundary throw-in about 65 metres out from Subiaco's goal. Some 3.5 minutes into this third quarter. Claremont leading by 15 on the comm system scoreboard.
Putt and Gowdy on the far side of the ground. Putt's been solid all day. He wins the tap down. Over the top of the ball is Morgan. He's going to get wrapped up in a tackle. Another stoppage. Subiaco with some work to do. Big men going up for it again. One down to the advantage of Claremont. Snapped around the body by Pearce. Was smothered. Back into the hands of Putt, who gets brought to ground. Over the line. Patterson, not quite over the line, but he snapped it around the body. It was smothered. Punt gets ripped down by Gowdy. Now the ball travelling inside the Subiaco 50, and another intercept mark has been taken by Claremont. Now Claremont moving the ball forward. It went over the top of the contest and it spilt out of bounds. So a boundary throw-in will occur on the far side of the ground. Gowdy and Putt have been battling all day. Putt wins it again. Nearly had to rove it himself. Over the top of the ball was Page, gets wrapped up in a tackle. Now Subiaco managed to pump it inside 50. Looked like the mark was taken in, but a snap around the body's going to send it towards the goal. It hit someone's leg and went sailing over the boundary line. Well, not quite sailing. It trickled along the boundary line. It'll be a boundary throw-in. So they're looking good here with a bit of a territory advantage. Subiaco. Gowdy thumped it down. Subiaco collecting it. They're going to push it back inside 50 here. They do. It was stabbed forward, but it's gone straight to the Claremont interceptor. Now a one-on-one contest for the ball. Subiaco trying to move another number towards the footy as well. It's kicked and it's trickling inside 50. Collecting it now is Mania, but it just went out of his hands and it's turned back over to Subiaco. Big one-on-one contest as they went up for it. And it'll be trickled along the boundary one more time. Claremont back with the territory advantage now. A boundary throw in. Big men putting their hands up for the footy. It was one down to Robinson, but he couldn't quite get it out of there. Now McKenzie with the footy. Kicks it down the line into a one-on-one contest. Beautiful pair of hands under pressure from Ferrone. Ferrone now, the left foot kick inside 50, and it's going to go straight in the Claremont direction and be brought in by Luke Knight. one of the big three Claremont defenders that's been standing up all day. Claremont switching it now to the far side. Things still looking good for them, but the ball's smothered. It's going to go to Morgan. He gets the handball off, sailing towards goal, and it's gone to the right-hand side. Not quite for Subiaco on that occasion. They've added another behind to their total. The kick from Caden Fullgravy didn't quite get there.
Watson is now going to move it free from fullback. He goes to the outer side. That's a disappointing kick and finds Henderson. Henderson telling his players to stream to the forward line. They're going to go for it. And they need to. They're 14 points down. Henderson with a high kick. Leaping high was a Subiaco player, but keeping the ball in front is Watson. He read the play very well indeed. Watson's kick is a risky one towards right half forward for Subiaco, but they have backup. Wilson kicks high. Claremont have the numbers at the front of the football. One of them there is Malone, but Subiaco gather back up. The 3-on-2 and a strong tackle applied by the Subiaco duo. And it'll be a repeat in proceedings. A ball up on the edge of the centre square. It's on the forward half for Claremont. Gowdy with the tap out, but it's not going to go anywhere further. Gowdy in front, loses out to Putt. Patterson gets boot to ball towards right half forward for Subiaco. And over the line goes Knight. And have a throw in on the forward end for Subiaco. They'd love one goal here to get themselves back into the game. Goals have been a premium this afternoon, especially with the conditions that we had this morning and the breeze that's blowing across the ground. Both ruckmen miss it. Putt, good pick up. Follows it up with a beautiful hand pass along the ground to Ash, but his kick towards half forward is intercepted by Anderson. Anderson out of the right half back flank. He's going to kick it to the outer wing. Players will fly. Big spoil from Clinch, but the Claremont Tigers, they've got numbers at the back of the football. Oh, looked like a high tackle there against Guelphy, and it was, according to the umpire, and Claremont will get the free kick. Or Subiaco will get the free kick, rather. And that is going to be taken by Savini for the Lions. So Savini on the defensive side of centre. Kicks down the line. It looked like a float up. Anderson leapt high, couldn't take the mark. Boot to ball. Good evasive skill there by Clinch. Got the hand pass out. And now they link up with Henderson. He has a bounce. Streams through the centre. Kicks towards half forward, but it's a 3-on-1 in favour of the Tigers. And again, that man Blight, he has been magnificent in defensive 50, and he's going to send Claremont forward. That is a lovely kick, but not able to hang on to that one was Alvarez. Close to the boundary line. Is it going to go over? No, it isn't. Players still converging around the ball like a pack of wild dogs, and now it goes over the line for a throw-in. On the comm system scoreboard, 14 points the difference with just under 15 minutes to go in this third quarter. Claremont still have the advantage, but Subiaco pressing hard.
Boundary throw in far side. Subiaco with a lot of work to do. Subiaco collecting it in the pack. Alvarez was there for the tackle. A ball up on the far side of the ground. Punt and Gowdy, great contest all day. Claremont with the footy now, clearing it through the middle. Subiaco with some numbers at the fall of the ball were able to collect it, but now it looks like it's been turned straight back over, and Subiaco collect it one more time. Chipped through out of a tackle. On the far side of the ground, the handball went over the top of the target. A lot of numbers there for Subi, but Claremont managed to clear it forward. Now the ball spills inside their 50. Really working hard to get it out of there. Fullgravy, who's wrapped up hard in a tackle. It'll be a ball up inside the Claremont 50.
Another goal for Claremont, I reckon, would make it tough for Subi to come back, especially with the way the game's been played out.
Very tough. The Rucks nearly have to rove it themselves there. And a high tackle has been called. Subiaco will have the chance to move it out from their defensive 50 now. The pressure being eased off slightly. With the footy, it's Ash. Kicking it out wide was Ferrone. His kick went over the boundary line. And
it's deliberate.
They've called that deliberate, yep. So now with the footy is Luke Knight. Flyers go up for it, but it's spilt out to the Subiaco man, and a good intercept mark taken at midfield.
Knight
it's
again.
Luke Knight again. So Knight put it inside 50, didn't get all the kick that he wanted, but Gowdy's tapped it down. It looks good now. Subiaco at the fall of the ball managed to handball it out of there. Looks like they could get out of trouble here as the kick goes sailing down the wing. And there's Watson taking in the mark. He's pushed it forward, and now the kick inside 50 by Claremont. Just been marked on the paint of 50. Might not have the distance. Needs to see if he can find a lead. There was one coming through, and the mark was almost taken in by Tracy. It's handballed over the top now, and after all that, Subiaco looked to be breaking away, but Claremont with numbers here, and it shouldn't be too much of a problem for Watson and Riley to close in on the ball. Watson the kick out wide to Riley. Has an option in beak on the near side. Claremont happy to slow things down. 11.5 minutes remaining in the third term. Cameron Anderson taking possession of the footy at left halfback. Anderson manages to evade the man on the mark. Could be a good chance here to move it forward. Claremont now with the footy. And that's going to be straight back in the direction of Subiaco. Harwood, he moves it inside 50. They're going up for it. And just bringing it in before it got to the boundary line.
It's a goal.
Subiaco, and he's got it. The goal by Belloard has put Subiaco back in this contest.
That was a much needed goal there, especially with the way Subi have been pressing on with their entries inside forward 50. But look at this gather. Have a look at this.
Beautiful goal.
Good pick up by Belliard. Swings onto the right foot immediately, off a couple of steps too. He just had to kick that one on instinct because Subiaco know that they have to take every risk imaginable in order to get back the lead in this game, especially with the way Claremont have controlled the ball in their defensive 50.
Claremont interchange there. As we can see the play going off. Great shot that we have down there on the boundary from front row screens.
Oh, they do an awfully good job. They did so as well on Friday night over at the Coburn Ice Arena.
Yep.
With the PPL Ice Hockey goal cams, they got the lot. And hey, if you need an LED screen for your next big event, why not get a hold of Matty Williamson and the crew? They do a wonderful job. Great service they are indeed. As the ball is on the edge of the centre circle. And ourselves repeating proceedings. Big punch out towards centre half board for the Tigers. But the Lions pressing it hard now. Socket off the ground, out of the centre square. Treacy. Great play from Treacy and Anderson. The kick towards half back. Alvarez. He tries to take clean possession, but to no avail. They're wanting holding the ball, but they're not going to get it. And a little pushing and shoving there. Stegio and a couple of Claremont players saying, how do you do? Ball tossed up again. Not going anywhere further. Stegio and Holt hounding the football for the Lions. And now they've got it back here. Mullane snaps around the corner, but didn't cover much ground. Claremont now putting them back under pressure. Good hand pass smother. Mullane again. Mullane and Clinch going down, as well as a couple of Claremont players close to the line, but the umpire is going to throw it up just inside the field of play. 8.5 minutes, just over 8.5 minutes to go. This third quarter, the margin now 8 points. Alvarez kicks high. And now Claremont on the attack again. The kick towards left half forward. It's going to find Main Waring. He couldn't take the mark. Good gather from Main Waring. Breaks through 2 tackles. He goes from 50 metres out. It's a high kick towards the top of the goal square. Daisley in front. But great pick up at the end there. And the goal has been kicked by Riley Morgan. Morgan puts it right through the centre. And that's a start. That's the one that the Claremont Tigers are after. To get one back in response. And Claremont now lead at 41-27. 14 points the difference. Just under 8 minutes to go on the comm system scoreboard.
I think now for Claremont the priority is scoreboard pressure. The scoreline, 8 points just a moment before that goal, was, I think, flattering Subiaco a little bit. The way that Claremont have dominated the last 35-40 minutes of play since the opening of the second term. And it's going to be getting goals on the board now to extend their lead and put themselves in a bit more of a comfortable position.
That Claremont bench will certainly be elated with that goal. That gives them some breathing space heading into 3/4 time. And also a big final term coming up to see who will take on Perth next week in the grand final. Good bounce by the umpire. Gowdy favoured by that one. He got the palm down. Roves it well out of the centre square. High spiral kick towards half forward. But a great mark, Patrick Mullane. He's going to go down the line. It's an awfully big risk. But the Tigers have got numbers around the football. Towards full forward with the breeze. Main Waring bustles his way through. Mullane under immediate pressure. Mullane got the hand pass out. Goes over the top to Page. Page from half-back, kicks towards right centre wing. And will go over the line for a throw-in. 14 points to margin, 6-5 to 4-3 in this preliminary final. 6.5 minutes to go on the comm system scoreboard.
Throw-in on the commentary wing. Putt, Gowdy, one down by Gowdy. Straight into the hands of his teammate who gets clipped. And that'll be a free kick for Claremont. He chipped it forward and just got too much on that kick, and it's been turned over straight back to Subiaco. Just a little kick down the line to Ash. Ash is looking for options now. Claremont set up nicely here, and big intercept mark again. It's brought in by Jake Wilson, who's going to switch it out to the far side. Running onto it is Alvarez. Bit of pressure by Savini. And Savini almost got there before it rolled over the boundary line. 5.5 minutes remaining in the third term. You'd think at this point, if Claremont got one, that strong defence of theirs would be able to hold off Subiaco for the majority of the fourth term. Rux went up for it. Ball in dispute on the ground.
Push in the back, free kick.
And yeah, it was a push in the back. 2 players diving on top of Riley Morgan there. So here he is, ready to move it forward for Claremont, who will be happy to slow things down a little bit at this point, as the mark was nearly taken in beautifully by Daisley, who went up high. Handball through the middle, a snap around the body, puts it inside 50. Flyers went up. Ball in dispute on the ground. Subiaco looked to have the advantage as it spills out towards the paint of 50. Moving it was Bremen. Now Subiaco with the footy, running it through the corridor. Could be a good chance here as they try and get men in behind the Claremont defence, but wrapped up beautifully in the tackle. And the umpire is going to have to throw it up inside the centre square.
A solid effort from Watson to contain Robbins there on the run.
Ball one down by Putt. Multiple players at the contest, but Putt managed to get it out of there. Moving it through was Page. And now closing in on the boundary, Alvarez. And the umpire blows his whistle as it goes out of bounds one more time. Subiaco would be prioritising, I'd say, 2 goals minimum before this term ends. Well, I mean, really 1 at this point. 3.5 minutes remaining. That's probably what could save them from here forward. The Claremont kick was marked. They've got some numbers in the corridor now as they move it through. Ooh. And the intercept mark was taken, and bit of extra after the whistle there from Daisley, who came in hard on Savini.
Well, Clinch stood up for his teammate there and struck one of the Claremont players as well. That was Daisley. And that'll be 50 metres, unsurprisingly.
So 50 metres for Subiaco. The Claremont player was lucky not to get 50, not to have that reversed there after he came in and thumped him, but always good to stand up for your teammate, and ended up getting away with it.
And the umpire's going to bring that ball back to the edge of the centre circle. 2.5 minutes to go. Margin is 14 points in favour of Claremont. Of course, we had the blood rule as well, implemented by the umpire at the same time. And Daisley there just having a chat with the umpire. And time continues to tick over. Remember, 25 minutes continuous for each quarter in the reserves game. As Savini now brings it back into play. Players leaping high. Blight was one of them. No mark to Watson. Ash snaps high. They'll contest along the boundary line. Getting involved there was Riley and Borchett. And it's going to be a throw-in at 15 metres out from the Lions' goal. These last 90 seconds pivotal for Subiaco since they've got it locked in their forward zone. Gowdy from behind gets the tap out, and Claremont, they release the pressure by clearing it out of their defensive 50. What a great mark under pressure. Sensational mark on the attacking half for Subiaco, and that gives a chance for Subiaco to get another entry inside forward 50. No mark. And a tackle being applied there by Page, and over the line, that tackle on Blight inside the last minute of this third quarter. Holt getting the tap out, and Claremont again clearing it out of defensive 50, but it is going to be a free kick going the Tigers' way. And there's some pushing and shoving there. Holt getting involved with 2 Claremont players. Be careful, boys. You don't want to end up in the book. The umpire's just restoring some order here. And a ripped Guernsey as a result. So it'll go the way of Daisley inside the last 20 seconds of this third quarter. It's a high ball towards the outer wing, and it's out of bounds on the full. But Subiaco, I don't think we'll have any time to generate one final entry and a chance for goal. And there's the siren. 14 points of difference in favour of Claremont against Subiaco in this preliminary final. One term to go for either team to see who will have their season finished and who will step in to Optus Stadium to face Perth next week in the WAFL Reserves Grand Final. And Claremont, they look most likely, Luke, to be in that position with the way they handled the pressure in that third quarter.
They've been the best team all season, and after a small hiccup in the first quarter, you can see why. What a brilliant defensive effort. Probably flattering Subiaco a little bit on the scoreboard. They are doing a better job than a 14-point lead, I would say, at this point of the game.
Well, they did kick 4 goals in the second quarter, and they were only held to 1. Both teams, in fact, scoring 1 goal in the third quarter, and Claremont now leading 41-27. We'll be back with all the final quarter action here at Fremantle Community Bank Oval, where it is the Tigers, the top team in reserves in 2021, leading the 4th place Subiaco, heading into the final quarter. We're turning for home right after the break.
Shutterguard has been installing Perth's best shutters for over 30 years. With no advertising signs on your front lawn and no sales gimmicks, visit shutterguard.com.au.
Welcome back to Fremantle Community Bank Oval. We are turning for home in this WAFL Reserves preliminary final. All thanks to Optus. And of course, our broadcast partner CD.com Systems, Ross Discount Home Centre and Front Row Screens. Claremont leading by 14. Paul Persick and Luke Worthington with you in the box. Again, it was very, very tight. It was a real arm wrestle in that third quarter. Only one goal scored for each team. But Claremont, with their defensive pressure and locking the ball inside their forward half, still have that momentum in their favour.
Yeah, absolutely. Claremont really solid in the third term. Subiaco were able to prevent them from really running wild, but weren't able to close it in as much as they would have liked. Defensively, Claremont didn't need to do as much. Subiaco weren't moving the ball inside 50 as much, but when they did, they stood up well. On the other side, Claremont not really able to score at the clip that they would have liked in that third term. I think that Subiaco also did a relatively good job shutting them down in defence, but Claremont still holding a 14-point advantage, and I would say, based off how the game has gone so far, that Subiaco don't look like they'll be closing in too far on it.
Let's have a look at the goals now, thanks to CD Dodd. We have seen 8 goals kicked all throughout the game, and we're going to have a look at them all. Of course, Subiaco got the first one on the board there through Galen Savini. Wasn't he a magnificent player ever since? And then Borchett, that beautiful snap around the corner under significant pressure to give Subiaco their second. But then a big fight back in the final few minutes. Long handball over the top to Daisley. And wasn't he pumped up with a double fist pump to boot. And then Subiaco were able to get another there through the fine composure of Stegio. And that seemed to level things up for Subiaco. But then, when the second quarter really started to kick in favour of Claremont, Alex Pearce got himself a crucial goal, a big snap around the corner. And then how about this kick from Malone? Nice drop punt from a tight angle. And that got Claremont going in that second quarter. And then from point-blank range, Guelphy with a great mark. And then, of course, the last 2 goals of this game to date, both in the third quarter. Hand pass over the top, Sheldrick, and then on to Beat with a beautiful left foot snap under pressure. And then when Subiaco got this one through Corey Belluard, looked as though Subiaco might be on a bit of a late run, but the defensive pressure from Claremont has been just too strong in the first 3 quarters. But there is still 25 minutes of football to go. Subiaco, don't think they're totally out of it, but with the way the game is being played, you are right, Luke, that it is going to be tough for Subiaco to mount a comeback just like that, especially against a hard Claremont side that have been real defensive-minded since quarter time.
Yep, and we'll see how it goes in this fourth term. Everything to play for. A near perfect season on the line for Claremont. They lead by 14. Subiaco, they've been solid all year. Very competitive in that middle part of the ladder. 3 teams finishing on 9 and 7 as their record at the end of the home and away season. And one of them, Perth, is in the grand final next weekend. So whatever happens here, we'll have a competitive Resi's grand final next weekend.
We certainly
at
will.
Optus Stadium. We
certainly will on that first Saturday in October. You can bet that. Let's go to the possession getters just quickly, Luke, before we get into this fourth quarter. Who's been getting a lot of the footy?
Riley Morgan for Claremont leads the way with 19. Benjamin Elliott has 17 as well for Claremont. On the other side, Noah Ash has 16, and Isaac Clinch, Caden Fulgravy, Sandon Page and Connor Patterson all have 13.
I'm just having a look at the team numbers as well. It's been quite even in some of them. Of course, the inside 50s have been very even, 32 apiece. And then the marks, Claremont have just gotten a lot more of that, especially with that barrage of intercept marks in the second quarter. 11 more, as you said. Will they be able to maintain that momentum, or will it be a Subiaco comeback in the final quarter? We're about to find out in the next 25 minutes of football to see who will join the Demons next week. It's all or nothing for both sides as we get this final term underway here on Front Row Screens. The Tigers leading by 14 points. Rucks go at it. Gowdy got the tap down. Ball's in dispute on the edge of the centre. Hard tackle being applied by Elliott, and the umpire says, give it to me. Gowdy again working it to the front. Has an EB fantastic. Gets the tap out to Elliott. Intercepted. Savini's kick inside 50. 1-on-1. Ball bouncing unfavourably there for Guelphy. And now the Lions have gone on to attack. Bremen with a fine mark inside 50, and we'll have a chance for the first of the quarter for the Lions.
That was the first time in quite a while that Subiaco have managed to take one overhead. inside their attacking 50. And look, hopefully it can pay off for them well.
Hasn't Bremen had himself a really good season in reserves? But also, it's just the way that Subiaco needed to lower the eyes and go for those short passes that could see a really big quarter ahead. So Bremen, from 45 metres out, swings back, and he's put it through. Bremen gets one back for the Lions, and that's the start that Subiaco are after. And just like that, the margin is back to single digits as we go to the CD dot replay. This is a beautiful kick from Bremen, Luke. Nice hook from left to right.
Yeah, beautiful kick and solid left foot kick. Just exactly what they needed at this point. And look, Claremont, they're putting them under a little bit of pressure now. And this is where the scoreboard pressure needed to be applied from Claremont a little bit more in the third term.
Just seeing on that replay, he's got a bit of that Daniel Rich kicking style as well. He's got plenty of swing on that left foot.
Yeah.
Well, it's Daniel Rich earning his first All-Australian selection for the Brisbane Lions this season. Well done to him, a Subiaco boy. And a great career he has had since going to Brisbane. So in the early minutes of this final term, the margin now 8 points, 6-5, playing 5-3. Gowdy gets the hand pass out. Onto Sheldrick. Now it's in dispute. Subiaco have it again. The kick towards half forward. One-on-one. Good spoil from behind. Harwood was it. Looping hand pass over the top. Watson couldn't take clean possession. And Ferrone gets caught. He's high tackle. And Ferrone will get the free kick. And this will give Subiaco a chance to go only 2 points down if Ferrone can steer this one through.
What a job they've done in the forward 50 in the opening moments of this term. And Ferrone, their second best goal scorer of the year, was 11 goals, 9 during the 2021 reserve season. So none were bigger than this.
Ferrone, low trajectory kick. It sneaks in. Ferrone has 2 in a row for the Lions, and now they get to within 2 points. Only 3 minutes have gone in this final term, and the Lions have come back in a hurry. As we see on the CD dot replay, Jordan Ferrone, 19 goals, 11. You can make that 20 for the 2021 season, but look at that. Isn't he pumped? Just what Subiaco needed, and that has caught Claremont off guard. We mentioned how Subiaco just needed to lower the eyes a little bit more and go for those short passes instead of going for those high balls willy-nilly. Subiaco have done just what they need to do and have got themselves a good start. Can they keep it up? That remains to be seen.
So far, it seems like the perfect adjustment. They've caught Claremont off guard twice there, and on probably over 10 different occasions we saw them enter the 50 and have it snatched back by Claremont. 2 points the margin as we get back underway. Handball over the top now. They've moved it forward through the corridor, and the mark's taken at the paint of 50. It's brought in by Borchett, who moves it forward. It just spilt before it hit Ferrone. And a boundary throw in inside their 50.
First 3 inside 50s have gone Subiaco's way. Claremont, they just need to control the clearances again. They've been dominated in that area in the first 5 minutes.
Nearly got them again on that occasion. They won't be unhappy with a boundary throw in their territory. Putt, Gowdy. Putt won it down. Smother as the ball went inside 50 by Morgan. It's travelling along the far wing. Claremont have it. And slowing things down, it moves over the boundary. Claremont needed this stoppage. The momentum is swinging hard in Subiaco's favour. If Claremont can get one against the run of play here, they'll be in good standing. Putt won it down. Claremont Crummer closed in on it. And it's out of bounds one more time.
Well, it's on the full, in fact. That
it is on
kick
the full.
by Davis was out of bounds on the full. A kick by Wilson, rather, was out of bounds on the full. And the Lions will get another chance to go inside their 50. And the kick's going to be taken by Caden Fulgrave. Very close forward setup Subiaco have got. They've got Ferrone. And they've also got Borchett, Jack Borchett, that is, in their forward 50.
Claremont now moving it into the centre square. Mark was fumbled in the air, but it was taken in. Kicked forward again. Marked, pushed inside 50, and the mark's taken in. Exactly what Claremont needed. And they'll have a shot on goal through Max Mania. He's led the way for them in the goal scoring all season. And today, he's lining up for his first of the afternoon. Kick 2 behinds. Bit of a hard kick here. Breeze blowing across the field, and he's just pushed it out to the right-hand side.
Well, that's a missed opportunity for the Tigers, I'd have to say. To steer back into a double-digit lead.
With under 20 minutes left, that's what they needed. Subiaco moving it out from fullback now. A kick down the line on the far side. Claremont managed to bring it in. Handball went back and it's pumped inside 50. Subiaco coming up with it in the defensive 50 now. Can they get it out of there? They do. But the intercept mark is taken in the middle of the field by Claremont. And straight back inside 50 it goes. They go up for it. It spills over the back of the pack. Subiaco with the advantage here. Full gravy. Manages to move it out. Finds himself a bit of space. Ball went forward to Beverly, who kicked it down the line. And now it's in the hands of Borchett. He managed to move it forward under pressure. Now on the far wing, Subiaco. The kick went high, straight up in the air, and was taken in. I didn't think it was 15, but the umpires paid it. Inside 50 now, and the mark's taken at right half forward by Aaron Bremen.
Simply brilliant by Subiaco. They just kept moving the ball down the line, forcing Claremont to switch up their defence to the outer side. And Subiaco have got themselves going again.
Snap around the body by Bremen to put them in front. And he's done it. Subiaco take their first lead since early in the second term. And this game is back on their terms. A 4-point lead for the Lions.
6-6-42, playing 7-3-45. My goodness, has this game come alive. They've kicked 3 goals in the first 10 minutes of this final quarter, and Claremont only just 1 behind.
And I think at this point, Claremont have to be saying what happened to get us in this position.
Big next couple of minutes coming up, especially for Claremont, with this lead now gone. 6-6-42, playing 7-3-45. Subiaco have kicked the first 3 of this final term. They've got the momentum with them at the moment. Putt punches it out of the centre circle. Going down was Patterson. The tackle being applied by Beck. Players converging on the footy. The umpire will likely stop them in their tracks and say, give it to me. Working to the front there is Gowdy. This time it's picked up now by Davis. Quick snap smothered. It was an up and under. Big punch by Elliott. Sending the Tigers forward, but running onto it there was Savini. Savini goes high towards the boundary line, and it's over the line. And it'll be a throw-in just by the contingent of Subiaco players and officials. 45 playing 42 in favour of Subiaco. They've kicked the first 3. And Claremont have only scored 1 behind.
And my apologies before, just for a just on the scoreboard error. I said that Claremont took the lead. They do just sit 3 points behind Subiaco at this point, so not quite getting their first lead since early in the second term, but they're nearly there, and the momentum's in their favour.
3 points the difference. Close to the line. Subiaco again clear. A great mark taken by Anderson, just inside the line. And he'll look to set things up now for Claremont again. They are back under pressure now. They trail by 3. Anderson's kick towards left half forward. Minia unfavoured by the bounce. Fullgrave to Fullgrave. They link up, but it's turned over. Elliott can't break free from the tackle. Got the hand pass out. They were wanting ball, but they're not going to get it. Great play there by Sheldrick. Sheldrick with the left foot, turned over. Hand pass. It's a high kick into open space. Borchett couldn't spoil that one, but he's given away the free. In fact, no, it's over the line for a throw-in. Would have given away the free kick for a moment. There looked to have been a bit of holding on in that contest. It'll be a throw-in alongside the scoreboard. Gowdy again in front, loses it out to Putt. Putt applying a strong tackle, but the umpire has called high. Free kick to Tracy. And now they're on here. Claremont looking to get another one going to take back the lead. Long probing kick towards half forward, no mark. Minia punches it away, waiting there was Guelphy. Caught in the tackle. Comes out now to the player in Bennett. But he gets bundled in a good tackle. We'll have ourselves throwing a ball up right on the paint of 50. It is on for young and old here. Watson off the bench for the Tigers. Bennett overrunning it. Hand pass comes out. Subiaco back under pressure now. Robinson couldn't get that one to go. Oh no, that's Tracy rather. Snap on the left foot. 1-on-1, no mark. Umpire calls play on. Close to the boundary line. Great play by Smallwood to keep it in front. But he's caught in the tackle. Close to the line. And the umpire says, give it to me. Luke, only 3 points in it on the comm system scoreboard. 13 minutes to go. It is certainly going to go down to the wire at this stage.
Claremont trailing by 3. They led all game from after the first quarter. Subiaco in front now after a solid fourth term. Boundary, ball up on the far side. Rucks went up for it. Hard tackle by Beak. Sees us right back where we started from. Punch down by Gowdy. Subiaco trying to collect it at ground level. Umpire's going to take it in again, another stoppage. Putt and Gowdy went for it. Moving it out was Davis. Goes out of the boundary line once more. So on the far side, one more time. A boundary throw in. Gowdy thumped it down. Ball in dispute on the deck. And again, another stoppage. So things slowing down. Claremont need a goal desperately to save their season at this point. After they looked so solid all afternoon. The Lions pouncing on them in this third term.
Holding the man, it's a free kick.
Holding the man is the call. Didn't have the footy. Claremont now with a chance.
It's Elliott.
So Elliott, high ball travelling towards the 50. The Flyers went up for it and a big smother there by the Subiaco defender.
Almost went out of the ground.
Yeah. Boundary throw in far side, just on the paint of 50 for Claremont. They need one desperately as it ticks down nearly to 10 minutes. And
on the full.
Yeah, it was on the full, was it?
Yes, it was.
It was, yep. So Anderson, he's going to have the chance to put them inside 50 again if he can get all of this. And boy, does he. Sends it in long. They go up for it. It's tapped down to ground. Moving it out of there's Patterson. Ball's trickling around and rolls out of bounds again. So much of this game played at the stoppage.
Certainly is, but it certainly is going to be who wants it more out of the stoppage. And at the moment, it has been Subiaco. They controlled those first 3 centre clearances to great effect in bringing in 3 goals. Putt from behind, palms it down. Beverly overruns it, and the tackle being applied by a couple of Subiaco players. And we'll have ourselves boundary throwing. The tackler was Robbins. So it'll be on the forward half for Claremont. They are desperately trying to get it in their forward 50. Gowdy taps it forward, and now the Tigers are back in their forward 50, only momentarily. Strong tackle being applied there. And it's going to be a ball up on the paint. 9 minutes to go on the comm system scoreboard. It's going to be a big finish ahead to see who will join the Demons in the grand final next Saturday. Elliott. High kick with the left foot. Minia from behind with the spoil. Umpire calls play on, close to the line. It's not over, it's kept in. Great play by the Lions defence. The kick's high, and it's out of bounds on the full. So now Claremont have another chance. The kick towards the left forward pocket. Goes up high. Guelphy snaps around the corner, and it's nothing but nothing. Out of bounds on the full, so 2 missed opportunities now for the Tigers. That could have put Claremont back in front. But the pressure right back on them now as Subiaco bring it back into play.
Kick down the line, didn't get all of it. Just trickled past the paint of 50. Subiaco trying to move it out of there. Kick off a step, has gone out of bounds on the full. And now ready to collect the footy. Claremont on the far side. Or has it gone out of bounds on the full?
No, it hasn't.
No, not quite. My apologies. So a boundary throw in. Claremont desperately need to get the better of this stoppage. Wrapped up hard in a tackle by Beak. 7.5 minutes left. Claremont in desperate need of a goal to save a near perfect season. Clearing it out of the stoppage, Subiaco, out of the contest, sorry, Subiaco. As they manage to soccer it forward with a bit of advantage, they're running onto it. It's soccered just towards 50. Handballed back and pushed inside. Ball spilling around. Now trying to move it forward is Bremen, and he's wrapped up beautifully in a big tackle. What a tackle there from Sheldrick to save the almost inevitable goal for Subiaco. Ball goes up again. Claremont trying to move it out of there. Crowd want ball.
Dangerous tackle.
And it's, yeah, it is a dangerous tackle. Slung him down, unfortunately. So here's Elliott. Didn't get all of the kick.
Push in
Ball
the back.
on ground now, and it is a push in the back. So Subiaco again with the chance to move it inside 50.
Free kick's going to be taken by Mullane. Mullane's kick inside 50. Huge pack of players will fly. Anderson was one of them. Couldn't take the mark. In fact, it was Watson. He wanted the mark to be paid, but the umpire said no. We'll have a repeat in proceedings. Ball up about 15 metres out from Subiaco's goal. One more and it's all over. Big tap forward. It's cleared by the Tigers, but only as far as Page. He takes the mark on centre half forward, and it looks as though he's going to go for it himself. He certainly is. He's going to have to kick from 55.
Wow.
Sandon Page. Well, he's had 14 touches today. This will be his 15th disposal. No, he's going to go short to the outer side and find Fulgrave. Now is Fulgrave going to go for it? That's the big question. Or is he going to kick it to the hot spot? He goes to the hot spot. Players fly. Watson was one of them. No mark. Ball's at ground level. And it's not going anywhere further. We'll have a repeat in proceedings. 5 minutes to go. Subiaco by 3 points.
Ball up inside the Subiaco 50. We thought they might have had it there for a second. Gowdy thumps it as far as he can, but the kick goes towards goal. Running onto it now. And Claremont should be able to clear it under heavy pressure. Subiaco getting numbers towards them. Had to handball it back, and now the clearing kick was nearly brought in, but not quite. And Subiaco now with a jump. Moving it in is Ash. Claremont looked like they could turn it over, but no, putting it onto the right boot's Borchette, and it's gone wide. That might have done it with how low scoring this game's been. But Anderson's going to clear it from full back, a 4-point lead for the Lions. They went up for it in the pack, but it spilled to ground and a big collision there. Everyone seems to be okay, but Claremont with numbers through the corridor, kicking it inside 50, couldn't quite take the mark. It's tapped over the top, running onto it, Smallwood, couldn't quite get there. Subiaco break it up. And umpire's blown.
Free
the
kick.
umpire's blown his whistle, it's a free kick.
And it's going
Wow.
Claremont's way.
A free kick to the Tigers. It's going to be taken by Max Mania, and that's whose hands you'd want it in.
He's going to be kicking from almost the same position that he scored that behind early this quarter.
Mania from almost directly in front, 15 metres out to give the Tigers the lead, and he's sent it to the right-hand side for a behind. Unbelievable. And after all that, with 3 minutes remaining, the Lions hold on to their 3-point lead.
Fulgrave from half back. He's wanting to chew up as much time as he possibly can. That might have been Claremont's chance, but there's still 3 minutes of football to go. Kick partially spoiled. Anderson, he took the mark. Anderson's going to send it long towards the left forward pocket. Minia flies, but it goes over everybody, and it's another behind. 2 points the difference now. Good golly, over the last few weeks, there have been thrillers in the WAFL. This one's certainly no different, so hold on to your hats. Clinch is going to clear it out of fullback. With the breeze, players fly, no mark. Page, hand pass, comes out to Robinson. Robinson dribbles it down the ground. Watson intercepts for the Tigers. It's back and forth they go on the outer wing. But now Subiaco, they've got something going here. They'll look to go inboard. No, it's a kick into space. Inside forward 50. Knight goes across the ground. Under 2 minutes to go. Pierce, he's put under pressure. Knight knocks it back out of that defensive 50. Almost a high tackle.
Oh,
Bon
wow.
Bennett, umpire calls play on. The kick from Savini to the full forward zone. Flying high, Ferrone, open goal, all over. Ferrone has another one this quarter, and Subiaco are off to Optus Stadium. Jordan Ferrone read it well to the drop of the footy and sees the open goal like nobody's business and seals it, as we see on the CD dot replay. Ferrone with the left foot. He says thank you and good night. And Subiaco are going to be meeting Perth next week at Optus Stadium in the big dance.
Wow.
Oh, it's those little moments that can set you up for a win or a defeat. And that passage just on left half back for the Tigers. They just appeared hesitant where to move the football. And it looks as though that has cost them dear. We're inside the last minute now of this preliminary final. It's now 8 points in favour of Subiaco. Ball up in the centre. Big punch away. Morgan with the second effort, but the Lions with numbers out the back. The kick's into space. For the mark taken by Knight. What a game he's had.
Even if they get forward, it's done.
Watson. He kicks towards half forward. Fulgrave from behind. Good spoil. Ball shuttled out the back of the pack. Ferrone inside the last 10 seconds. Over the line. Tremendous effort by Subiaco. They are into the grand final. Subiaco are into the grand final. No one thought they could have done it. They have done it the hard way in 2021 to come from the elimination final. And they have beaten the raging favourites by 8 points here at Fremantle Community Bank Oval. And look at the jubilation. They have done it. But they have done it the hardest way possible. And they are victorious here today. 8-4-52 to 6-8-44. Subiaco are through. But Luke, Claremont, I'm afraid, left to lament a wasted season.
This is a team that came into this game nearly perfect. They shut down the opposition side for the better part of 2 terms. They did not have an answer for Claremont Subiaco about 45 minutes ago, and all of a sudden something happened in the 4th term and they were able to put the ball inside 50. It was those short kicks, it was taking the mark on the chest and not trying to put it in high where the intercept markers were giving them so much trouble, and that's what it's done. They've turned this game around, and in the most unlikely of circumstances are going to Optus.
We look at the final quarter, those first 5 minutes. Those 3 clearances proved to be the most important thing for Subiaco, especially when they were so far behind, 14 points behind at halftime. They were able to get the deficit only trimmed slightly by at least a goal. But then all of a sudden came this big charge. Bremen was magnificent early on when he kicked those 2 goals. But the fact that they stopped resorting to the high ball and started to lower the eyes with those short passes was a big key for Subiaco. Claremont, like you said, they just didn't have any answer.
Yep, and here's one of the goals. And just what a performance. A team with their back against the wall. And now they'll be heading to Optus Stadium to face the Perth Demons. And just a real test of character, this game, as we take a look for the final time at some of the disposal leaders. And we seem to have a bit technical issues with the stat sheet here. So as we look at the disposal leaders, Caden Fulgravy, he led the Lions with only 19 disposals. Noah Ash had 19 as well. And then on the other side, Benjamin Elliott, 24 disposals. Riley Morgan, 21 in a shortened game. Pretty solid numbers from these guys. Jack Beverley for Subiaco had 18 as well. And then if we look at the marks, a really clear marking advantage for Claremont, 59-47.
And that was largely because of their efforts in the second quarter. Their defensive structure was well oiled in that second quarter, with players like Blight, Riley, Wilson, and even Knight in that defensive 50 taking those marks. But a couple of those, especially the inside 50s, Subiaco, they only had 4 less, but they were able to even it out through that stretch in the last quarter, especially in those first 5 minutes.
Yep, an unbelievable effort, Paul.
It certainly was.
And we'll be seeing them next Saturday.
Absolutely. Next Saturday, all roads lead to Optus Stadium. And for the reserves, the road is coming closer, and the destination is only 6 days away. Optus Stadium, this year's reserves grand final, will see Subiaco from 4th place against Perth from 3rd. And this is going to be a very competitive grand final, without a shadow of a doubt. The FRS team will be there next week from first thing in the morning at Optus Stadium, and we'll be bringing you all the action on Front Row Screen Sport, your number 1 in 2021. Luke, it's been a pleasure to work with you once again. I hope to see you in the big dance next Saturday. And viewers around WA and around the world, we look forward to seeing you next week for the big dance. But not only that, we've got a big weekend next week on Front Row Screens. Grand final in PPL, the decider, Game 3, and then next week, next Saturday, first thing in the morning from Optus Stadium, the WAFL Reserves Grand Final, kicking off a big feast of football. On behalf of Luke Worthington, Matt, Ryan, all our cameramen and all of the Front Row Screens team, this is Paul Persick wishing you a very good afternoon from Fremantle Oval, where it was Subiaco winning by 8 points over Claremont in the WAFL Reserves prelim. We'll see you next Saturday afternoon.